Hello and welcome to this August 28, 2019 episode of the Law of Success Mastermind. This is a little bit different. It's actually 12:30 in the morning, but I'm doing this after the visit lesson with the author. It's the 7 Deadly Horsemen. 7 Deadly Horsemen. The 7 horsemen are labeled in order shown: intolerance, greed, revenge, egotism, suspicion, jealousy, and question mark. There's a guy standing there. He's not a horseman. I don't know who the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it looks like there are 6 horsemen and then a guy walking. 7 deadly horsemen. I don't know. Let's read the story. The worst enemy that any man has is the one that walks around under his own hat. If you could see yourself as others see you, see yourself as others see you, the enemies that you harbor in your own personality might be discovered and thrown out. The 7 enemies named in this essay are the commonest, which ride millions of men and women to failure without being discovered. Weigh yourself carefully and find out how many of the 7 you are harboring. You see in this picture 7 deadly warriors. From birth until death, every human being must give battle to these enemies. Your success will be measured very largely by the way you manage your battle against these riders. As you look at this picture, you will say, of course, that it is only imagination. True, the picture is imaginary, but the swift riders of destruction are real. If these enemies rode openly on real horses, they would not be dangerous, because they could be rounded up and put out of commission. But they ride unseen in the minds of men. So silently and subtly do they work that most people never recognize their presence. Take inventory of yourself and find out how many of these 7 horsemen you are harboring. In the foreground, you will find the most dangerous and the commonest of the riders. You will be fortunate if you discover this enemy and protect yourself against it. This cruel warrior, intolerance, has killed more people, destroyed more friendships, brought more misery and suffering into the world, and caused more wars than all the other 6 horsemen that you see in this picture. Until you master intolerance, you will never become an accurate thinker. This enemy of mankind closes up the mind and pushes reason and logic and facts into the background. If you find yourself hating those whose religious viewpoint is different from your own, you may be sure that the most dangerous of the 7 deadly horsemen still rides in your brain. Next in the picture, you will observe revenge and greed. These riders travel side by side. Where one is found, the other is always close at hand. Greed warps and twists man's brain so that he wants to build a fence around the earth and keep everyone else on the outside of it. This is the enemy that drives man to accumulate millions upon top of millions of dollars, which he does not need and can never use. This is the enemy that causes man to twist the screw until he has wrung the last drop of blood from his fellow man. And thanks to revenge, which rides alongside of greed, the unfortunate person who gives brain room to these cruel twins is not satisfied to merely take away his fellow man's earthly belongings. He wants to destroy his reputation in the bargain. Revenge is a naked sword. It has neither hilt nor guard. Wilt thou wield this brand of the Lord? Is thy grasp then firm and hard? But the closer thy clutch of the blade, the deadlier blow thou wouldst deal. Deeper wound in thy hand is made, it is thy blood reddens the steel. And when thou hast dealt the blow, when the blade from thy hand has flown, instead of the heart of the foe, thou mayest find it sheathed in thine own. If you would know how deadly are envy and greed, study the history of every man who has set out to become ruler of this world. If you do not wish to undertake so ambitious a program of research, then study the people around you, those who have tried and those who are now trying to feather their own nests at the cost of others. Greed and revenge stand at the crossroads of life, where they turn aside to failure and misery every person who would take the road that leads to success. It is a part of your business not to permit them to interfere with you when you approach one of these crossroads. Both individuals and nations rapidly decline where greed and envy ride in the minds of those who dominate. Take a look at Mexico and Spain if you wish to know what happens to the envious and the greedy. Most important of all, take a look at yourself and make sure that these two deadly enemies are not riding in your brain. Turn your attention now to two more twins of destruction, egotism and suspicion. Observe that they also ride side by side. There is no hope of success for the person who suffers either from too much self love or lack of self confidence in others. Someone who likes to manipulate figures has estimated that the largest club in the world is the It Can't Be Done Club. It is claimed that there are approximately 99 million members of this club in the United States of America alone. If you have no faith in other people, you have not the seed of success in you. Suspicion is a prolific germ. If permitted to get a start, it rapidly multiplies itself until it leaves no room for faith. Without faith, no man may enjoy enduring success. Running like a golden cord of illumination throughout the Bible is the admonition to have faith. Before civilization lost itself in its mad rush for dollars, men understood the power of faith. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. The writer of this passage, which appears in the Bible, understood a great law which but few of today understand. Believe in people if you would have them believe in you. Kill off suspicion if you do not, it will kill you off. If you would have power, cultivate faith in mankind. Egotism thrives where suspicion exists. Interest yourself in others, and you will be too busy to indulge in self love. Observe those around you who begin every sentence with the personal pronoun I, and you will notice that they are suspicious of other people. The man who can forget himself while engaging in useful service to other people is never cursed with suspicion. Study those about you who are both suspicious and egotistical, and see how many of this type you can name who are successful in whatever work they may be engaged in. And while making this study of others, study also yourself. Be sure that you are not bound down by egotism and suspicion. Bring up the rear of this deadly group of riders, you see two horsemen. One is jealousy, and the name of the other has been purposely omitted. Each reader of this article may take inventory of himself and give the seventh rider a name that fits whatever he finds in his own mind. Some will name this rider dishonesty. Others will name it procrastination. A few will have the courage to name it uncontrolled sex desire. As for you, name it whatever you please, but be sure to give it a name. Perhaps your own imagination will supply an appropriate name as a fellow traveler of jealousy. You will be better prepared to give the unnamed rider a name if you know that jealousy is a form of insanity. Facts are sometimes cruel things to face. It is a fact that jealousy is a form of insanity, known to the medical fraternity as dementia praecox. O jealousy, thou ugliest fiend of hell, thy deadly venom preys on my vitals, turns the healthful hue of my fresh cheek to haggard sallowness, and drinks my spirit up. You will notice that jealousy rides just back of suspicion. Some who read this will say that jealousy and suspicion should have ridden side by side, as one often leads to the other in man's mind. Jealousy is the most common form of insanity. It rides in the minds of both men and women, sometimes with a real cause, but more often without any cause whatsoever. The deadly rider is a great friend of the divorce lawyers. It also keeps detective agencies busy night and day. It takes its regular toll of murder. It breaks up homes and makes widows of mothers and orphans of innocent little children. Peace and happiness can never be yours as long as this rider remains unharnessed in your brain. Man and wife may go through life together in poverty and still be very happy. You both are free from this child of insanity known as jealousy. Examine yourself carefully, and if you find any evidence of jealousy in your mind, begin at once to master it. Jealousy rides in many forms. When it first begins to creep into the brain, it manifests itself as something after this fashion. I wonder where she is and what she is doing while I am away. Or I wonder if he does not see another woman when he is away from me. When these questions begin to arise in your mind, do not call in a detective. Instead, go to the psychiatric hospital and have yourself examined, because more than likely you are suffering from a mild form of insanity. Get your foot on jealousy's neck before it gets its clutches on your throat. After you have read this essay, lay it aside and think about it. At first, you may say, this does not apply to me. I have no imaginary horsemen in my brain. And you may be right. 1 out of every 10 million could say this and be right. The other 9,999,999 would be wrong. Do not fool yourself. You may be in that larger class. The purpose of this article is to get you to see yourself as you are. If you're suffering failure and poverty and misery in any of their forms, you are sure to discover one or more of these deadly riders in your brain. Make no mistake about it. Those who have all they want, including happiness and good health, have driven the 7 horsemen out of their brains. Come back to this essay a month from now, after you have had time to analyze yourself carefully. Read it again, and it may bring you face to face with facts that will emancipate you from a horde of cruel enemies that now ride within your brain without your knowing it. No man achieves great success who is unwilling to make personal sacrifices. Enthusiasm, guys. It's key. Head on over to inspirelansing.com. See what I'm working on. Inspirelansing.com. I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great night.